Hey YouTubers, what's up? It's Joe Fitz. Welcome to my Week 3 NFL DFS video. As we always do, we're going to start by looking at the lineup we built on the video last week. As you can see, 80 points. I did not have a good week at all on DraftKings. I probably put 250 in lineups in, and I got about $20 back. I had a lot of Alvin Kamara. I had him in probably about every lineup. I mean, maybe one or two I didn't have him in, so that right there put me behind. I had a lot of Big Ben. That hurt me. I had a ton of Robert Woods. He didn't do anything. I was just off this week. This lineup is garbage, as you can see. 80 points. I got a whole lot of zeros over here, as you can see. I didn't cash any of this, but I did cash, $20 or something in my three max entries. This is the best lineup it looks like that I have, which was still not very good. 149. I didn't get in the cash. All you can do is try to make it a new week. We move on. We're gonna have a better week. We had a good day today. That's what we're gonna look at. Today we did the captain mode here. Yeah, there we go. So we won $50 in in a single entry tournament. This captain mode. I had Shark as my captain. Jags D. And I bet the Jags and the under, so it was a good day for me. I finished sixth here. I was in first for a while. Then Leonard Fournette broke that long run. These guys all hopped ahead of me, so Delaney Walker could have given me a little more. But all right, we'll go on to this week. Going into week 3. As always, I have the highest totals of the week because those are the games we're going to want to target. The high totals are Baltimore KC, that's 52. Houston LA, that's 48.5. And then the Giants Tampa Bay and the Miami Dallas, they're both 47.5. But obviously, there's the one team we cannot target out of there is Miami. So we got 7 teams here you want to target in GPPs. We'll start at the quarterback position. As far as cash plays, you can obviously play Mahomes and Jackson cash plays every week. They're lighting it up, 33. But the problem with playing them in cash is 30 is their floor, but that's also where they need. That's their value right there between 30 and 35. That's value. You're not going to get much better than that. They have to really have a crazy game for you to exceed value with them guys. My favorite cash play of the week, as far as quarterback is concerned, is Matt Ryan. He's Atlanta, or Atlanta went, or Atlanta looked way better last week against Philly. You see Ryan threw the ball 43 times. He threw it 46 times first week. They're going to Indy. It's a dome, fast-paced game. 320 yards. He's got to cut down the picks, but that's not really going to hurt us in fantasy. He loses a couple points, but 23, 25. I'll take that for him in cash. At 5,700, I think he's less risky than a lot of these guys. They can't really get the running game going. He's got Julio. He's got Calvin Ridley. So I like Matt Ryan as far as cash is concerned. My second cash quarterback. I only got 2 cash quarterbacks. These are my favorite cash plays because we're mostly going to be discussing GPP. But obviously, you see me scrolling all the way down. It's Kyle Allen, 4,000. He doesn't have to do much to exceed value here. But he did play week 17 last year, rather. He played week 17. He threw 2 touchdowns, no picks. He had a very nice stat line, 225 yards. He can fill in here. Arizona's defense isn't great. They've been terrible against the running back. In cash, I have no problem with pairing Allen with McCaffrey. And that there gives you a ton of targets. McCaffrey's going to get the ball a ton. Last week he had 22 opportunities, but dud. But McCaffrey's always safe. Don't ignore last week, 7 points. He's not going to do that again. As far as GPP is concerned, Dak Prescott, you can play him in either cash or... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on Deshaun Watson. You can play... I did it again. You can play Dak in cash or GPP. He's been lighting it up. Dallas has been throwing the ball The problem here is negative game script. Dallas is expected to blow Miami out, but the thing with that is, if they're going to blow Miami out, the points have to come from somewhere. You just have to pick if it's going to be Dak, Zeke, Amari, But I have no problem with picking Dak, GPP, or cash games. Uh, Obviously, Josh Allen, he's always safe for cash. Safe for cash. One of my favorite GPP quarterback this week is going to be, where is he? Jameis Winston, 5,400. He's gotten off to a slow start here. It's 2 touchdowns in 2 games. That's not good. We need some more production from him. But yeah, it's easy to get healthy against the Giants. A lot of people do it. Even if Tampa doesn't win this game, they're not very good. Tampa's not a very good team. If they don't win this game, they could still get points on the board. It's going to be back and forth. Jameis Winston, GPP. I'm going to plug him in here. He's going to be my quarterback for my video lineup here. Let's take a look here. Let's run down these guys. These guys are going to have high ownership. You don't really want to play them in GPP. Deshaun Watson, I have no problem playing with him in either. Last week he didn't do nothing, but that was against Jacksonville. San Diego's got a pretty good defense. I always call them San Diego. It's LA, but they got a pretty good defense. I think we have better options here. Russell Wilson, he had a great week last week. Yeah, I mean, cash or GPP, I guess. I wouldn't really play him. I just think there's better options. Jimmy G, he's throwing the ball 25 or 27 times. The run game's not very good. You could play him in GPP if you'd like. He's not my favorite option. I really like Winston more than any of these guys. If I'm going to pick one of these guys for GPP, it's going to be Watson. You know what he can do with his legs. He's got, DeAndre Hopkins. That could be a shootout. It's a high total game, 48.5, the second highest total on the slate. This Winston is in the third highest total, 47.5. So I like these guys. We know Drew Brees isn't playing. I'd avoid Bridgewater. Let's see what he can do in Seattle. Going against Seattle, he looked all right last week, but the Rams haven't looked very good. So Kyler Murray. We know Cardinals' fast-paced offense. Look at this. He's thrown the ball 94 times in 2 games. Kyler Murray is a great GPP option. Carolina hasn't looked good. They're going to keep throwing it. Murray here, 5,800. He's going to run the ball. Wow, he hasn't ran the ball much, but they're trucking it around, so it's always an option. They're going to put up points. Murray here, 349, 308, 2 touchdowns. He had 20 points last week without throwing a touchdown. That's incredible. That's great. All right, let's see who else. Matt Ryan. We already talked about him. Cash lock. I'm going to lock him in there. Philly Riv. I'm good. I think we can find better guys. Andy Dalton. I don't mind playing him in GPP. This Zach Taylor offense, they're throwing the ball a lot as well. Murray, Dalton. They're up in the 90s in attempts after 2 games. GPP, you could pair Dalton. If you want to do a Bengals, I know this is a low total game. You got to hope it goes over if you do decide to play this. But obviously, you can do a Dalton, Boyd, Ross stack. And, if the Bengals have a good day on offense, they could put you up in the money in some of these tournaments. John Ross and Tyler Boyd have been awesome. 24.2, 37.8. I don't know if Boyd... Yeah, I mean, that's a nice stack. If you get 50 points from your 2 receivers, as you would have last week with Dalton, that would have been awesome. But my value play here, as you can tell, I'm giving you a value play here for GPP and cash. My value play is going to be, I'm looking for Falk. We're looking for Falk from the Jets. Maybe he's higher. Luke Falk. The Jets are going to be trailing. He's 20 of 25 last week. He didn't throw for a touch, but the Jets are going to be trailing. He's going to be throwing the ball, obviously. They're playing the Patriots. It's 23-point spread or whatever it is. I have no problem with playing Falk in GPP. Problem is, I think his ownership is going to be a bit higher than it should be. A lot of people are going to try to be getting this cheap quarterback for a discount. We got Folk we can play down here. People are gonna be playing Rosen. Um, as far as these cheap guys, obviously, since I'm playing them in cash, or I might play him in cash. He's an option. He's my favorite, Kyle Allen. But you can do like a Folk stack with a Lev Bell and Robbie Anderson. They bust a couple plays, and now you have a little contrarian lineup. We're going to defense, as you know. We like to get this average player remaining, see where it stands. Cowboys Patriots. Defense. These defenses are getting expensive. 4,300 against Miami. I know New England had a great game against them last week. They had 20-something fantasy point. 37. Oh, they had 37 points, but I wouldn't expect too much of that. I know it's the Dolphins and they're bad, but that takes a lot. What did they have? What did they have to score 47? They had 7 sacks, 2 defensive they had to have 2 defensive touchdowns. Miami didn't score. They shut them out. So I wouldn't pay. I'm never going to pay up for defense unless I get to the end of my lineup and I have, an extra 400 or 500 and I just, can pay up. But I'm never going to look to pay up for a defense. Seahawks here at home against Teddy Bridgewater. I don't mind them. They haven't played great, but maybe I'll get things on track here at home. Minnesota, Oakland. I don't mind playing Minnesota versus Oakland. I don't trust it too much. I'd rather go down here, one of these defenses. Chargers, they have a great defensive line. I know they haven't really gotten it going this year, but they have a good defensive line. Houston has a bad offensive line. This right here is the discount defense I'm going to be looking at. They're at home. I like it. The other defense I'll be looking at is Arizona. I know we're going to play that, not Josh Allen, that Tony, whatever, Allen, that Allen kid. We're going to play him in cash, but, in GPP defenses, he's a young quarterback. They could pick six him a couple of times here. I know they haven't looked great either. I'm really just pretty much probably going to lock in the Chargers for most of my lineups. If I had to go up here, I'd go Cowboys, Patriots, Vikings, Seahawks. Packers here is a value, 3,400. I think they've had 2 double. That is a value defense. Packers, Denver's atrocious on offense. I don't mind the Packers. Niners, I'd stay away from. I mean, they look great against the Bucks, but we'll see if they're the real deal. Bucks, I would stay away from. I know it's the Giants. I know it's a rookie quarterback, but it's the Bucks. Yeah, I wouldn't pick any of these other defenses. We're gonna move on to running back. Running back, obviously, our top guys. I think the top owned guys this week are going to be Zeke and McCaffrey. Everybody knows that this young quarterback's coming in. He's going to check it down to McCaffrey a lot. As far as cash is concerned, you can lock him in 7.3, whatever. We forget about that. Zeke, we're worried here about a negative game script. I mean, if Dallas gets up 30, do they pull Zeke? But if they get up 30, does he have 2 touchdowns? So that's something you got to decide. For cash, I'm going to skip both these guys. My favorite cash running back play of the week is Le'Veon Bell. 7,000. He had 31 touches last week. At 7,000, that's too cheap. I know it's New England. They got a good defense, but they don't have anybody else. This is who Falk is going to be looking for. I went over and I looked at the play-by-play, and it was just check down after check down to Le'Veon Bell. I'm gonna lock him in cash. Lev Bell, 7,000. Another guy I like, David Johnson. He had a not great week last week. He got hurt. He missed some snaps. He still played 80% of the snaps. They're going to try to get him the ball. They got a fast-paced offense. We know this. I don't mind playing him in GPP or cash. The same goes for Lev Bell. Their ownership could be high, but those are guys who are going to catch a lot of balls. They're going to be focal points for their offense. This week, you're going to have to pay up for running back. We don't want any of these guys down here. Chris Carson, he's okay for cash. The Saints are the Seahawks are 4-point favorites against the Saints. The Seahawks are going to try to get back on track as far as running the ball. They didn't do great last week, but They might have a little lead here, run the ball. Mark Ingram, KC's weakness on that defense is stopping the run. Mark Ingram is the clear lead back. I know he didn't do much last week, but it's not because somebody else has taken his carries. Mark Ingram's the lead dog there. I don't mind playing him in cash at 5,700. I wouldn't really play him in GPP yet. I don't think his ceiling's that high. We'll keep looking here. Joe Mixon, I don't mind plugging him in at GPP. His ownership's going to be low. I mean, he has 17 carries, 27 yards on the year. That's what GPP is about, though. You're taking a swing at these guys. His price, we know his talent level. I mean, he's priced up with these guys at the beginning of the year, and now he's way down here. $2,000 discount on his price. I don't mind plugging him in GPP. Let's see what he started the year at. 6,700. All right, $1,200 discount, but yeah, I won't personally. Like I said, I'm gonna pay up for running backs this week. I wouldn't really touch any of these guys. James White, 20-point spread. You know how New England is. You gotta decide which of those guys you want to plug in. It's always risky. It's roll the dice with them. Last week, none of the running backs did anything special. They all had double-digit points, nothing special. Devontae Freeman, 4,900. He's a starting running back. I don't mind playing him. GPP. I wouldn't play him in cash. He's got to get going here at some point. That offense, they score points, but I mean, 2 yards to carry, that's not good. But I don't mind plugging him in GPP if you're looking to get some value. There's really not any great value picks this week. It looks like Singletary could miss some time for the Bills. If that's the case, then Frank Gore down here, he had 20 touches last week, 21 touches last week. I don't mind plugging him in. Cash or GPP, 4,400. You can play him in cash. He only needs 13 points, and Cincinnati's defense is not good. I'll avoid him unless it's a GPP. Singletary's not playing. If Singletary's playing, Frank Gore, we don't even think about him. But nobody else has touched the ball in the backfield except for these two, and then their fullback has 1 carry. So if Singletary sits, let's see what Singletary is not practicing for. Called day-to-day. Yeah, it's not looking good. So I don't mind plugging Gore in if you're looking to save some here. But that's about as low as I'll go for. Oh, one more guy I actually wanted to mention. This is a total GPP swing, but if Dallas gets ahead of Miami by a lot of points, they could pull their starters. If that's the case, Tony Pollard could have a game. He averages 6 yards a carry last week. But that's like a home run. I mean, if you're picking that, that's one lineup. You're just taking a swing at that guy because he's way down here. There's not really many better options. Gelman didn't touch the ball last week. I was just wondering because I know he touched the ball a few times in week 1. Rashad Penny, yeah, I'm good. Like I said, we're going to pay up for running back this week. Since it's GPP, I'm going to pivot and go to Barkley. Tampa's run D hasn't. Do I want Barkley 9,100? No. I mean, Dalvin Cook's also a good play, cash or GPP, 7,000. He's versus the Raiders, 7,800 rather. I mean, he's touching the ball, 23 touches both weeks, 30 points. He's touching the ball. His ownership could be high right here. Eckler, I'd rather just go with Lev Bell. Although 19, 23, yeah, he's touching the ball too. See, this is a week you can close your eyes and pick any of these guys. Sony Michel, you want to get him in a GPP lineup. If the New England get to lead, he could touch the ball 25 times, 2 touches. We know, but that's why it's GPP, not cash, because we know that New England backfield is always a scramble. I wouldn't touch any of the Niners running backs. Jacobs, you can play him in GPP, but he didn't have a great week last week. He's banged up. Looks like Sean McCoy and Damian Williams are banged up, so I would avoid that backfield. I'd avoid James Conner for now. Let's see how that offense is going to go with the new quarterback in there. Mason Rudolph. You can play him in GPP, but nothing much more than that. Oh, 6,100 for Aaron Jones. That's too cheap. You can play him in cash. You can play him. That's too cheap. He touched the ball 29 times or 29 opportunities last week. 6 targets, 23 attempts. Yeah, 6,100. That's too cheap. So, you know, we're gonna play Aaron Jones in this GPP lineup, and we're gonna take one of these stars. We'll plug Barkley in. I like him. We're gonna have to tight end. We're gonna skip over receiver, go to tight end because we're gonna see. We're gonna try to change this average remaining value. Although George Kittle here, 5,600. He's getting cheap. He's lost 1,200 off his salary in 2 weeks. 1,000. He was up to 68. Now he dropped back down. George Kittle, you can play him in GPP. I wouldn't play him in cash. I mean, week 1 he had 10 targets, but he didn't do much in week 2. Zach Ertz, he's a cash only play. GPP, that's okay. We're gonna avoid him. 5,700. That's, I guess, for a guy who had 16 targets last week, you can play him, but GPP he's gonna be too chalky. That's why we're only gonna play him in cash. 16 targets. I mean, if this was a cash lineup for $100 extra, you're going Ertz over Kittle 100% of the time. But Kittle's a nice pivot. Travis Kelce, we know what he can do, but he hasn't really made his value worth it. 7,300, 26 points. I guess that's not really worth it. You can find some of these cheaper guys who are getting that kind of points. Mark Andrews, he's got that questionable tag. A lot of people sit on Wednesdays. He's gonna play. He had 9 targets last week, 8 the week before. You can lock him in cash or GPP. I think not as many people will be on him as they should be because he has that questionable tag. We're gonna plug him into our lineup for GPP. Evan Ingram, you guys know I love Ingram. He didn't have a great week last week, but he still had 8 targets, 10 points. Stud tight end. His price is going to get higher. He's going to get up in the 6,000s. I still believe that. So 5,200, that's a good value. Maybe not a lot of people will be playing him. That's a high total game. If you want to do a game stack, you could do, Barkley, Ingram, Winston with the 2 receivers there, Goodwin and Evans. I mean, it's a nice Giants-Bucks game stack. Darren Waller, I have no problem playing him in cash. I want to play him in GPP. I don't really know what his ceiling is, but we see his floor is double digits. So cash, I have no problem. 4,100, but I'd rather just pay the 500 for Andrews. Pay up. OJ Howard, he's been a dud so far, but you can play him in GPP. Hopefully, pray he gets a couple touches and it puts you over the top, but not a lot of people are going to be on him. That's why you can play him in GPP, but I'm avoiding OJ Howard at all costs. Jared Cook, after Drew Brees went out, Cook had these 7 targets. So, 7 targets is a lot. He didn't catch a lot of the balls, but maybe him and Bridgewater get on pace. He can be a GPP play here at tight end, as well as Will Disley. Will Disley had 2 touchdowns last week. He's still only 3,400. That's because, some weeks he just will have 2 targets and then he'll have a couple touchdowns. But the guys I'm really going to be targeting are George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, and maybe some Jared Cook. That's about it. I like Hockenson, but last week he only had 2 targets. He had 3 targets, but he's been, he was inefficient. They have Jesse James there, so all right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't really go with any of these other guys. Eifert, he could be a GPP play, but yeah, Andrews, Cook, Kittle, those are my guys. Ertz for cash. That's about it, though. All right, now we'll move to wide receiver. D-Hop, we all know what we can do. It's funny that none of these receivers are priced over 8,000. It's crazy because they're all bunched up here in the 7s. We know what he can do. He had a dud game last week. You won't see very many of those from Hopkins. He was playing Jacksonville. We know Jalen Ramsey. This is a bounce back spot for him. You could play him in cash, GPP, whatever. it's just funny that we have three running backs, four running backs priced higher than Hopkins or the same, Cook and higher. Devontae Adams, you can play him in cash. I think he's going to have high ownership in GPP. They're playing Denver. I know that maybe he won't because of that third that's there, but Denver isn't good. Aaron Rodgers is going to eat these guys up. I can see Devontae Adams getting on track here with a couple touchdowns. Mari Cooper, I'm going to avoid him. I know it's priced 7,500, and he's playing Miami. They have that high total, but we're going to avoid him because Xavier Howard is still in Miami. Might be atrocious, but Xavier Howard's still there. He's going to be Dean Cooper. Um, it's just going to be too easy for other weapons to get open on the Cowboys. I don't think this is going to be Cooper's big game. It's going to be other guys that are doing the work because Xavion's a lockdown corner. He's not going to be in Miami for much longer, unfortunately. Michael Thomas, he's too cheap. I know he's got Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, but cash games, I'm going to play him. He had 13 targets last week. He had Bridgewater last week, so he's still caught up with 10 times. His floor is, 15 points. So he's not going to bust on you here. So cash games, I have no problem with Michael Thomas. He's one of my favorite cash games play. My favorite cash game play on the slate here is Keenan Allen. You can play him in either cash games or GPP because of that questionable tag. Like I said, people won't click him. They'll look right by him because of this queue here. But Keenan Allen's going to play. He's going to catch a lot of balls. 15 targets last week. Cash, you can lock him in. Keenan Allen and Michael Thomas. Great prices, but this is where we're going to try to find some value in the slate as that wide receiver. I'm just talking about these top guys now. Julio Jones, obviously. I talked about Matt Ryan, how they're in the dome. Last week he looked awesome. You see him getting open field in that screen. He looked fast. 30 points last week, 2 touchdowns on just 5 catches. If he starts catching more of these balls thrown his way at 7,300, that's too cheap. Indy's not great. I know 10th, but they're not great. Antonio Brown, right before I started recording, they released some news that he's harassing reporters. I was going to talk about him as a GPP play. He had 8 targets his opening day. 8 targets. If he catches a few more of those, he has 100 yards. But this whole New England offense, any week, you never know who the guy. They're loaded. They're stacked. You never know who the guy's going to be. Antonio Brown. I'm going to avoid him just because of the news that broke today. I don't know what's up with that guy. He has a chance here to win a ring, and he's just goofing off. But Edelman, that's my favorite Patriots target again. Last week he was my favorite Patriots target, and we see how that worked. But Tom Brady's going to find Edelman. And that's his guy. He's going to keep him happy. And it was a 43-0 blowout. This game's going to get ugly too, but maybe Edelman gets some points on the board. GPP, I'm going to play him. I'm going to actually play him in this lineup. I'm going to go with Edelman 2 weeks in a row. I know he dudded on us last week, but I'll give him another shot. Chris Godwin, he's cash only at 7,000. I don't think his ceiling's that high. I know he had a good week last week, and this is a high total game, but I expect Mike Evans to get back on track here at some point. I do think he has like a 20-point floor at 7,000, so I'd play him in cash. I'm going to avoid him in GPP. If I'm going to GPP, I'm going to do the pivot to Juju. Juju's yet to score a touchdown. 5 and 6 catches. He hasn't looked great. I know they got the new quarterback, but someone's going to have to score. I know he's going to have Rich Sherman covering him, but is San Fran's defense really that good, or have they had a couple of weak opponents? We'll find out. I like Juju for GPP as the pivot off of Godwin. Not a lot of ownership is going to be on Juju. Sammy Watkins, I think he's priced right about where he should be. I'm going to leave him alone. I don't think we're going to find value there. Adam Thielen, his targets are going up. Minnesota's going to have to start throwing the ball here at some point, but if they did, I don't know what to do with Thielen. They're just not throwing the ball enough. That's another guy I'm going to fade for now. Kenny Galladay is a GPP play. He had 10 targets last week. He had a touchdown. 28 points. He looked good last week against the Chargers. I mean, they only scored 10 points. Or actually, they scored 13. I'm sorry. So they had one touchdown, and he still put up 28 points. If they get into a game here with a higher total, Kenny Galladay could do his thing. Mike Evans, I know he hasn't done jack squat this year, but it's Mike Evans. He's going to get on track. 6,600. He's priced too low. His price is going to get back up there. I'm just worried about his ownership. I think a lot of people are going to be on him. At 6,600, he's a good play. I want to play him in cash. We got to wait for him to get back on track. But GPP, you can play him. I'll play a little bit of Mike Evans this week. I'll sprinkle him in. I won't get crazy. I'm going to try not to overload my lineups like I did last week with Alvin Kamara and Robert Woods. I had them in probably 18 or 20 lineups, and that did not work at all. We're skipping over these guys. Gallup's out. We know that. That helps. That's good for GPP. I don't mind playing this guy here. Devin Smith, 3,400. I believe he had 3 targets last week. He caught all 3. He had a touchdown. He's playing that bad Miami team. I don't mind a GPP swing on him at 3,400. It saves you a lot of salary there. Another guy way down here. We'll talk about these 3,400 guys while we're down here. There's another one here. Oh, Nelson Aguilar. You can play him in cash. You can play him in GPP. His ownership's going to be high, so you might want to pivot off him on GPP. Devin Smith might be your pivot there. Like, you can do that for GPP. But cash games, we're going to lock him in. 3,600. Deshaun Jackson's out. He's going to be starting. So I don't know if he's going to start, but he's going to be on the field. He's going to get his touches. I know Wentz is going to get a bunch of targets, but for cash, 3,600, he doesn't have to do very much to hit value. He needs double-digit points, 10 points. We'll be fine with that. Amendola, we had him locked in last week. He had 0 targets. I mean, you can take a GPP swing on him, but we'll avoid him. John Brown, I still like John Brown. Cash, his price, I don't think it's not going up fast enough. He caught 7 balls both days or both weeks. He's Josh Allen's number 1 receiver for sure. This could be a fun game. John Brown, I don't mind playing him in cash or GPP. Calvin Ridley, he's a good GPP play. He had 10 targets last week, 8 catches, 5,300. That's, like I said, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones stack. That could be a nice GPP stack. Yeah, Atlanta has to get on track here. They got on track last week, and Indy's in the dome. So, all right, what are we looking at now? Robinson. GPP play. You can play Hardman. You can play Robinson. You can play Watkins, but if they're GPP plays, you never know who it's going to be in that offense. I'd rather just play Mahomes naked and then take the big plays from whichever receiver he throws it to. If I'm going to do that for 7,600, I'll try to stay away from these guys. You don't know who it's going to be. Both of them did their thing last week. 16.1 and he had 38.2. Don't expect that from him again. But you never know. 2 touchdowns. That offense is just an explosion waiting to happen. Every play, Mahomes can throw the deep ball. John Ross at 5,100. You can play him in cash or GPP. If you're trying to save some value for cash, I don't mind plugging him in. 20 targets in 2 games. He's just too cheap. I'm not sure why his price isn't going up faster. Larry Fitz and Christian Kirk, they're getting their targets. He's had 20 in 2 games. Larry Fitz has had 24 in 2 games. I don't mind either of these guys at GPP plays. I want to play them in cash, but because you don't know who it's going to be, so that's one of those guys. You got to pick the right guy here. They're going to throw the ball a lot. As you've seen, Murray had 95 plus throws in 2 weeks, which is insane. There's a lot of volume to go around there. Fitz, Kirk. You could do a Fitz, Kirk, David Johnson, Kyler Murray stack. That'd be fun. Let's see where else we can save some value here. Right here, one of my favorite GPP plays of the week here. DK Metcalf. He's had 7 targets, 6 targets. They're 1A, 1B receiver with Tiger Lock. Week to week, these guys are going to change. I don't mind playing them in GPP. They use them right. They use them properly. They keep him on the side he's supposed to play on. They throw him jump balls. That's how you got to use DK Metcalf. Robbie Anderson, I don't mind him as a GPP play, especially if you have Falk. You can stack the Anderson-Falk combo. I don't mind that. If he catches a deep ball or two, we know Robbie Anderson has that ability. He caught a bunch last year. We already went to those cheap guys. But, yeah, that's what I'll be playing at receiver. So let's see. We're going to stack Evans here with Winston. 4,700. We'll go into the flex. Maybe we'll plug Aguilar in here. I know he's gonna be. No, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot to Devin Smith. Aguilar's gonna be high owned. We're gonna pivot to Devin Smith. Hope he catches. All he needs is one long ball and 150-yard ball. That's 11 points, and we're good. We're gonna plug him in. I believe Dallas's points got to come from somewhere. Maybe he'll get some. That way we save some value here. 6,000. If this was cash, I'd be plugging Chris Carson in here, and I'd be clicking enter. I'm gonna put this on, and I'd be clicking enter. But because it's a GPP, I'm gonna go with Sony Michel with the 20-point spread there. Any given week, one of those Patriots running backs can have 2-3 touchdowns, and if that's the week, because it could get ugly there in New York. I know he hasn't done jack, but he had 20 touches last week in a blowout, 49-0. So hopefully 20 touches this week with a couple of touchdowns. Well, that's it for the slate. I know we kind of moved through it a little fast. I'm trying to shorten these videos up a little bit. I don't know if anybody wants to watch a half an hour, but let's see where we are. We're probably about there. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm a little over half an hour, so it is what it is. I'm trying to shorten them up, but you start talking, you forget. I just noticed Randall Cobb. You can plug him in GPP as well, but I want to go with Devin Smith. Cobb, 4,600. You can get DK Metcalf. You can get Larry Fitz for a slight upgrade. You can get Christian Kirk for a slight upgrade. I'm not going to mess with Cobb. Devin Smith's my guy there. Well, that's it for my DraftKings. Tonight I'll be putting out a betting video for the weekend. I did well last week. Subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment. All right, good luck, everybody.